Are we on? Welcome to Broadcast Brains 2017. Now, we're with Dan Mile from BirdDog, who's come through to chat about what he's got to show from our latest products. Dan, thanks for coming on Broadcast Brains.
Thanks very much, James.
Now, tell us a little bit more about BirdDog. It's a new company, so just coming on stream now, if you like.
Yeah, that's
and,
right.
Yeah, give us a little bit more of a background of
No problem. So BirdDog it's a brand new company. We only started up a year ago. We've been talking about building a product for that long, and actually this week is when we're starting to ship. The idea of BirdDog really came about as an IP enabling product. So a year ago, or just over a year ago, NewTek announced NDI, and with NDI, it sort of opened up some opportunities of how do you transmit video around a building. And typically, the NDI solutions that were available or talked about at the time were computer-based, so going from a server to another server, and it's convenient to do that. The conversation then went, well, wouldn't it be better to get that closer to the camera? And then things led from one thing to another, and that's where BirdDog was born, really. Let's look at making a camera back that's IP-enabled from the ground up, but give the operators and the talent that are using those facilities the things that they want.
Sure, so there's been a fair bit of work in the background in building this thing. So how long have you been putting into getting this new product?
Yeah, so from a hardware perspective, we've been working on this for over 12 months. It's around about 14 months from start. And it's a design from the ground up. If you look at NDI as a protocol, it's a freely available SDK that many people can use. There's hundreds of people that have started implementing it. But it is all computer-based. And so what we've had to do is strip that apart and write it into a piece of hardware. So this is the only hardware-based NDI encoder on the planet. And that's really what's taken all the time. We've had to develop a video I/O platform, processing the codec and everything to go inside this little box. And importantly, keep it small, low cost, low power. No one wants fans and noise on set. So this thing only uses 4.5 watts of power. It's obviously very compact, but still has the facilities that people want. And that's really what's taken the time, is to get something so compact and refined.
So in a nutshell, BirdDog here is bringing NDI into the live production environment. So we're talking about tele.
Yep. Correct.
We've got SDI or HDMI in, and we've got more to come.
Yeah, so on the box, the initial facilities that we have is the front here, where it's got a little black box, is actually a tele display, and that's a full screen tele or information. So it'll tell you your camera name, but also go red or green depending on whether you're on program or preview with tele. It's also got tele out the back as well. So if you mount this on top of a camera, the talent can see the big tele light at the front, cameraman can see the tele light at the back, and that's a great facility. On top of that, it's got, as you mentioned, SDI and HDMI. And it's also a mini converter built in, so it'll take SDI and loop out to HDMI, which can be really convenient for low-cost installations where maybe you don't have an expensive SDI monitor on top of your camera, but you can go out HDMI. And we can turn on or off tele overlays on that loop out as well. It can be a clean output, or it can give you tele. In addition to that, there is more coming. The hardware is being designed to be, as I mentioned, a full camera back. So it's only half the story to be sending that video. The other half is return feeds. This box is capable of decoding or receiving NDI as well. In the first firmware, which we're shipping out now, it is only encoding, but very shortly we'll be announcing the decode part. And that means while you're sending out your camera feed, you're also going to get back any other NDI feed. So that could be the program output, or it may also be just a different split that you have from somewhere else that's valuable for the cameraman to see.
Okay.
On top of that, we also have a comms or a headphone jack on the front, and that's also going to be enabled for communication. So again, designed to go on the back of a camera and hopefully answer most of the facilities that are needed on a live production.
Sure, so this is sort of like plug in an iPhone headset type connector and
correct, yep.
ready
so
to
it has push to talk functionality as well, but yeah, you can plug in, like I say, an iPhone headset or a dedicated comms headset, and it just goes straight in there.
Okay. Looking at that, I can see that looks like a really nice package. What about mounting onto the camera? What sort of options have you got coming?
Yeah, so again, the way we've got it now, there's quarter-20s on the top and bottom, and we've got some through holes straight away. So there's some ways to mount it. Admittedly, there's probably some more creative ways to mount it. We've got a few things coming up. One of them is a sled that will mount it horizontally and go straight into the hot shoe mount of the camera. And that works really well with the screen on the front. And it's quite good for compact cameras in that arrangement. We also have a battery plate cage that's going to come, and essentially it's going to drop into this battery plate and have a male and female plate. So you click it on the back of a production camera. And again, if it's on the side of the camera, you've got the tally information that comes out the side. So we're looking at the best possible ways to mount it, and the most convenient. We want to try and avoid Velcro as much as possible. So.
Oh, but the world loves Velcro.
Yeah.
It'd be devastating to see the end of that. Yeah. But with the tallies and things now, this can also show camera names and things as well?
It can, yeah. So tally actually is one of those things that's really necessary in productions, but often left to the last minute and causes headaches. NDI, as a protocol, enables tally really easily. It's just part of that protocol. So as soon as you have a receiver that's picking up this signal, it's automatically sending back that tally information. There's no configuration at all. And on the front here with the display, you can choose within our web console if you want it to be an information display, which will tell you the camera name, and then a small square for tally information, which will light up red or green. Or you can have it as a full screen tally, which then is more traditional in the fact that it's just a big red light to say this camera's live. The name on there is defined by the web interface, and that follows through to the source name on NDI as well. So if this is called Camera 1, you'll see it on your receiver as Camera 1. It'll be on the front here. Everything's lined up together. So
great.
Yep.
Now, in the last week or so, New Tech have also announced their version 3.0 of their SDK.
Yep.
So what's your support for that? Where are you going forward with
So we will support NDI version 3.0. It's not shipping now. As soon as it's available, we'll be working on that. NDI 3.0 has got some really cool new features. Probably the one that comes to mind is multicast. With IP, the great advantage is you have a network switch that actually enables the video to go around. So rather than having a video router that's limited at 32 by 32, you have a network switch which can go as big as you want to scale it. The trouble you have with the current NDI is it's a unicast, or each receiver receives its own stream of NDI. Yeah. With NDI 3, that changes to multicast, so this box sends out one stream, and as many devices as we want can receive that. And that scales really nicely going into perhaps Pro AV space or even digital signage and things, where you want more and more screens to be able to see that same footage. Distribution then becomes a whole lot easier. It's done by your network.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, it's a pretty nice piece of kit. So when's it shipping?
We're shipping our pre-orders on Monday, so we've had a pre-order campaign, which is closed now because we're about to ship. And then from there, commercial shipments through resellers around the world will start in around about 3 to 4 weeks, just as we build up our manufacturing.
Oh, that's great. Well, it's really exciting to see a local company putting it out there and actually trying to bring in some products into the industry to make a difference. So, Dan, well done. I think
Thank you very much.
Really
it's exciting
great.
times. So.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for being on Broadcast Brains.
Appreciate it.
And stay tuned for more. Thank you.